A black cube that seemed to appear everywhere once you learned how to see it. In
Okay,
ancient
pause.
temples, in modern cities.
Pause.
I like the fact that we started with, previously on notes here, but I'm getting the feeling that we're talking about the Kaaba, and I don't like where this is going.
Yeah, I think we'll just play it and just kind of see where we're going.
In religious rituals, in corporate architecture, in the silent geometry of power itself. In the first part of this series, we learned to look at Saturn not just as a distant planet, but as an idea, an archetype, a symbol that human beings have used for thousands of years to describe time, restriction, boundaries, law, consequence, and control. Saturn as the force
we've
that
been
measures
using
life,
cubes the
that
whole
divides
time.
it into hours and years, that tells you what is allowed, what is forbidden, and what the cost will be if you disobey. We learned that in conspiracy storytelling, Saturn becomes the ruler of the material realm, the god of the cage, the architect of systems that feel invisible but absolute, systems that reward obedience and punish instinct, systems that convince you the world you see is the only one that exists. And the symbol
Saturn
of that
in his
system in this worldview is the cube as container, the cube as box, the cube as a perfect prison.
The cube as
edges,
box.
corners, limits. It separates inside from outside.
The cube
It is
as
stable,
box.
efficient, orderly. And once you are inside it, everything makes sense in a narrow, mechanical way. Work, pay,
Why is this guy
obey,
speaking
repeat.
like
Live
he's living
inside
in
the
the
schedule,
Minecraft
live inside the
world?
rules, live inside the walls. In part one, the cube represented the system that trains you to forget
So,
your own
so are we
vastness,
gonna
the
learn
system that
anything about
teaches
it,
you to
or is he
shrink,
just gonna
to
talk
measure
about it?
yourself by productivity, to define your worth by
I think it's
compliance,
just yapping.
to accept the cage as reality. But every story about a
I'm
prison
surprised
The
eventually
so
black
much
reaches the
cube
same
meaning he's
cage.
question.
getting out of
How do
a
you get out?
cube.
This is where the second part of the story begins, because the cube is not a final shape. It only feels final when it is closed. A cube has 6 faces,
What?
6 equal squares held together at right angles. When it is sealed, it looks solid, immovable, absolute. But a cube is not indestructible. It can be opened. And when you open a cube, something extraordinary happens. You do not add anything
What?
to it. You do not invent a new shape. You do not impose a symbol on top of it. You simply
Wait, what
unfold
was
what
the
is already
amazing
there.
thing?
When you cut a cube along its edges and lay it flat, the 6 faces spread outward. One square remains in the center. 4 extend from it like arms. Another often rests above or below. What you are left with is no longer a box. It is a cross. Not metaphorically,
That's
not
if the
poetically,
cube
literally.
is
The
hollow.
cross is the cube opened. The
You
cross is
could
what
also have
happens
a
when
T.
containment is
You could also
unfolded.
have it be a
The
T
cross
if
is
you
not
just move
placed
the
onto
top
the
cube to the
cube from the
bottom.
outside. It emerges from within it. And once you understand that, the story of Jesus changes completely. Because now the cross is no
Story of
longer just an
Jesus?
instrument of execution.
Okay,
The cube is
It is a
Jesus.
it's a bit of a
diagram.
stretch.
Okay.
In this mythic and conspiratorial reading, Jesus is not simply a religious figure sent to appease an angry God. He is
He's
a
from the
But he's a
cube,
symbolic
bro.
box?
interruption of the Saturnian system itself. The Saturn system runs on law, on punishment, on debt, on fear, on time, on guilt, on consequence, on the belief that you are fundamentally flawed and must be controlled. And the system demands sacrifice. Empires have always demanded blood to maintain authority. Rome perfected this.
The
Crucifixion was
ritualistic
not just
sacrifice of the
execution.
box.
It was a public ritual of dominance, a message written in flesh. This is what happens when you step outside the rules. This is what happens when you threaten the order. Jesus was
Okay,
executed not
so
in
if we're
secret,
running off
but in
that
the open.
idea,
Not
then it's
quietly,
not
but
Jesus
deliberately.
that
Not
is
because he was
the
weak, but
thinker
because he
outside the
refused to
box, it's
submit to the
Rome,
story the
because
system
Rome is
told
the one that
about
was doing the
itself. He
crucifixions.
challenged authority without becoming violent.
You're
He
thinking outside
rejected
the
hierarchy
box.
without building a
Wait.
new one. He spoke of freedom without seizing power. He treated the outcast as sacred. He forgave where punishment was expected. He refused to generate the fear the system needed to survive. In Saturnian terms, that is dangerous, because Saturn
Which
rules through
system?
consequence, and Jesus removed the teeth from
The
consequence.
Saturnian system.
When he was placed on the cross, the cube was being unfolded. The system did what it always
What?
does. It applied law,
The
it
cube
applied
is being
force,
unfolded? What
it
is he
applied
talking
death.
about?
But something unexpected happened. The victim did not respond with fear. He did not beg the system for mercy. He did not curse his executioners. He did not attempt to overthrow the structure with violence. He did not justify himself to authority. He absorbed the system's violence without feeding it, and in doing so, exposed it. This is where the
Wow.
idea of paying for
Whoa,
sins can be
bro.
understood differently. What if sin is not moral failure, but entrapment? What if sin is missing the mark because the target was moved? What if sin is forgetting who you are because the system taught you to see yourself as small, broken, and indebted?
I'm just
In
a
that case, the
man
price being paid was not
in a
demanded by God.
box.
It was demanded by the system, and Jesus paid it by
Alice in
refusing
Chains
to
is pretty
continue the
good.
cycle. The resurrection is not
Why
just
are there all these
survival, it is
arrows?
transcendence. It is consciousness no longer bound by matter, spirit no longer confined by law,
I'm trying to
life no
figure
longer
out
owned
how
by
he's
time. In Saturn cube
using
mythology, Jesus becomes the
Saturn,
figure who
which
escapes the
he's
box and
saying
shows
is like
others that
a
escape is
system,
possible.
a planet,
Not through
and a
rebellion that
Greek
strengthens
god.
the system,
And somehow
but
this
through
relates to
remembrance that
Judaism.
dissolves it. This is why early Christianity
Well,
was
Must be
I'm
some
trying to
dangerous.
Kabbalist
Not because
thing
it
that
understand.
I don't
worshipped the
understand.
man, but
I'm
because it
trying to
undermined
understand.
fear.
Like,
A
it
population
sounds
that
like I'm
believes death
listening
is
to an
not the end
audiobook.
cannot be
Like,
ruled the
there's
same
really
way.
no.
A population that believes forgiveness overrides punishment cannot be managed by guilt.
He's
A
just saying a
population
lot
that
of
believes the
stuff.
sacred
It's a
lives
lot of
inside
yap,
them cannot be controlled by external
but like,
authority.
there's nothing to
This
back
is
any
also
of
why
this
the
up.
message was eventually institutionalized, because symbols that liberate are always refolded into systems. The open cross was turned back into law.
The box
The living
unfurls,
message was
revealing your
boxed into
unpaid car
doctrine. The
payments.
Saturnian pattern
Jesus is
returned,
the repo
but the
man.
geometry never
The
stopped being
Saturnian
true.
pattern?
The cube still unfolds into a cross, and the cross still represents the opening of containment. And
Well,
what if
what
the
if the
answer was
box
not
is
obedience,
solid?
but awakening?
Because you're just
Because
talking
if the
about a
cube can
cube.
open, then the
A
system is
cube
not
doesn't
absolute.
always
And if the
open. It
cross
could be
comes
a
from within the
solid
cube, then
object.
freedom was
There's,
always
if you
built
try and
into
like
the
cut
design.
away at it, you're just gonna cut into more cube.
So like I don't think I can take much more of this, but I guess he's trying to say that this Saturn like slavery, it's breaking out of that like slave mindset. But then maybe he goes on to explain what that even means, but
So like being inside the box is like inside the
yeah.
matrix. Whoa.
I mean, the only thing I'm gonna give him, and I don't think he was attempting to relate to this, because he's talking about like time being a cube. I'm thinking, oh no, are we
Yeah.
going down the
Yeah,
the
we
time cube
are.
route again?
This
But
is time
I
cube.
Cubular time is just the tip of the iceberg.
I don't think he was trying to go there, but he's talking about all this random stuff. It's like, yeah, it's a prison, man. It's a prison. And the one thing I will give him is Saturn did eat his children. So technically, the cube could be like the inside of his stomach. But then again, he's talking about how like Saturn is order over instinct. And you're not going to tell me that Saturn was not just like relying upon primal instinct to eat his children, because
Yeah.
that made sense somehow.
Oh no, the rules don't apply to Saturn. That's the thing.
BitChute is where you get
We are
all the
going-
best conspiracies.
Yes. And so tonight we are watching Pat Says, What is Flat Earth? Is this guy with the blaze? I swear to God, if let's just watch. Let's just watch. Okay,
Ed Gray is
that's
here
quite a boomer
on the
intro.
Blaze Radio Network.
Good morning, America.
It is the Blaze.
That's embarrassing.
It's
All right, let's just see what we have.
Welcome. So great to have you with us.
Yo, it is Friday.
33 Pat Unleashed on Twitter.
Sure
So a big
is.
decision from
This
the
is
Supreme Court
just like it was
yesterday. Came down
yesterday.
as expected. We'll talk about that later on. The affirmative action thing done in colleges.
It's a shame.
Now what? Isn't it?
It's a
Isn't
shame.
it? Thank you. Now,
shame.
no black people, no Hispanics can ever go to school again.
Ever.
What flat Earth is.
Here we go. Here we go.
But-
now we're starting.
I
to
thought
cook.
he would never stop yapping.
Okay, okay.
Oh dear.
Yo, it's that.
I would
stupid-
hate to have this
viruses.
guy's
Nice one.
face.
It's so great, and there's no filters
Wait,
to
what is
change.
this?
You just plug this thing in, you turn it on, and you're done. It's so easy to install. It's great. There's no installation. Gee, that sends all the pollution when that's like, and it pure thunder, and you're gonna suck. That's EdenPureDeals.com. It is ordinary. One of this flat. Welcome.
Is that just a
for joining me.
Hey,
humidifier?
thanks for having me.
Okay.
Hi,
Thanks for
Dave.
having me. You hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh.
Good.
Yep.
Legal
about
disclaimer.
time.
We got
Do not believe anything I'm saying, so
Excellent.
you can't sue
I just
me.
want to start out by saying, do not believe anything I say. I want you to verify this stuff yourself, because
he
this
looks
is how
like
the world
a,
has gotten into this crazy situation that we're
action
in.
star
People just
reject.
believe anything they
It's
hear,
like,
especially if it comes
I
from a
look
guy
like
in a
a
white lab coat
Arnold
and a bow tie.
Schwarzenegger.
Right? So
And you're like, yeah,
don't
but you
believe
can't do
anything.
the
I
same
want to
moves,
point out,
and you don't have the guns.
some things that you never even thought of.
I'd
So,
like that.
There you go.
All right, that sounds great. So
He looks like
lay out for
a
us.
failed
First of all, let me
Steven
ask you this:
Seagal.
when did you?
He looks
when
like
did
a
you
retired-
decide,
he looks like a
in your
retired
mind
Limp
that the
Bizkit
world
member.
was not a sphere. It
He
wasn't
does.
spherical. It was flat.
He
because
does.
we're all taught right away in school the theory that the Earth is spherical. It's
He's
a
on
globe.
So-
Skype. He's literally
and
Skyping
so
in.
when
Yeah.
you,
Oh, wow.
I'm surprised
sort of
Skype
discount
is
that
even
theory
open.
and
I
come up
suppose
with
that's the only place
the
you
Earth
could
being
go
flat.
without NASA's
Short
interference.
story, I was doing a conspiracy
No,
podcast back
NASA
in
can take Skype
2014,
down.
And people started sending in flat Earth stuff, and I just, like any smart person, would just ban them from ever coming
So,
to
how
again because
long
they're
in
too
the
dumb to
video
listen to our
before
podcast.
we
Right,
throw in the
okay.
And then
Steven
finally, I was forced
Seagal
by another researcher, Dave. You have to look at this.
Jamaican
So I started
song?
watching some videos. Now I don't like. Oh, where'd you learn that? At YouTube? No, YouTube's a resource for good stuff and bad stuff. And I went in with the attitude trying to debunk flat Earth, trying to prove the globe, and that's how you get here. You know, when you think of flat Earth, people think of a disk floating in space. This is what Google feeds you, right? This is from the Flat Earth Society. The Flat Earth Society is not flat Earth.
Look, the
It's
dome,
a
you can see the
government-run
dome.
disinformation
Yeah,
site
you
to make
can.
you laugh at flat Earth.
Really?
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right. I didn't realize that.
They say, so people are like, well, gravity, the Earth is rising at
I have
night,
no
making this a
idea
second. No
people
flat
laugh
earther
at
believes
flat
that.
Earth.
Only globe believers
Really, they don't.
believe flat Earth believers believe that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dumb people like me.
So what
So
does
we're not-
that mean?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you know, and people
Don't
are like,
ask
oh, what
him
are we, the
that.
only flat planet out there? Well, you know, those lights in the sky, we can get into that. They're just lights in the sky. We don't know what they are, but they're provably not what they say that they are, right? We're not a
What?
disk floating in space with a
Okay.
bunch of globes. That is two false models mixed together. You know, whenever
But
you
are we,
see,
like,
you know,
dealing with
mainstream
holograms
media
again?
talking about it, they show this. This is not flat Earth.
No, every
Mhm.
So
so-called planet
get the
is a
idea out of your
disk
head
with a
what flat Earth is and what it's not, right? Most people don't know about your solar system. In your solar system, Pat, do you know how fast the Earth is rotating at the equator in the globe model?
Yeah, it's pretty fast, isn't it?
It's 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
1,000
okay.
miles an hour.
Yeah.
So when you're watching the sunset on a nice calm day, the sun appears to be going away, but in your reality, you're falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound, which is making the sun appear to go down. While that's going on, you're going in an elliptical orbit around the sun at 66,600 miles an hour. A funny number that shows up a lot in the heliocentric system. And then we're also chasing the sun at a 500,000 miles per hour. Okay. 500,000 miles per hour. Let me just put those into perspective for you. This is called the hypersonic sled track. Anybody could look this up on YouTube. You get this exact video. And it goes by at Mach 8.6. The sound when you hear it is shocking. Okay. You have to believe, if you believe in the heliocentric system, that we are going 10 times faster than this around the sun in a curved orbit. Not like an airplane, which is enclosed, flying straight and level at a constant speed.
Okay.
We are
And this is a
curving.
problem.
And
Why?
curving is acceleration when you go off your linear line of
because it's too fast.
Angle wherever you're going. So we're going 10 times faster around the sun and chasing the sun 100 times faster than this. You can't even conceive of that. But when you go out into nature, your common sense shows you this. What does this tell you? Common sense. God-given common sense says this is a stationary.
Okay. Common sense tells me
contained water. Water needs containment.
water.
Large bodies
Of
of water need
course.
containment, and when they're contained,
Have you
and
ever
at rest,
realized
they
that
lie
like
flat.
the flat Earth people
And we can
cannot
measure,
get around
we can
water?
measure how far we can see.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
like
I've
that's
noticed
Like,
that.
if the Earth
like I've
was-
seen so many flat Earth people
Curvature is
take
hiding my mouth
balls
right
and
now
just
if you're
pour
watching the
water on
video,
top of the
and
balls to
it's
just
a
prove
physical
that
curvature. But
gravity
with our
isn't
today's
real.
consumer optics, we can zoom in on things that should be behind miles and miles and miles of curvature.
Like, if
And
the
we can
Earth
see
were spinning,
them.
there
The
would
fact
be
that we
no
can see
still
too far
water.
is all you really need to know that we are not on the globe.
He says
they
we
tell
can
us.
see
This is
too
a
far,
picture right
but I
here,
don't think
from
so.
a mountaintop. Now, yes, well, you're on a mountaintop. You can see farther on a globe.
Okay,
Same
he's
thing on
gonna
a flat
explain
Earth. The
it.
higher you are, the farther you can see because of your angle. But we can see all of these mountaintops over here, and the tops of these mountains should be over 40 miles below the curve. Okay, we can see this. You know what mainstream science says about this?
What?
They won't touch it. They won't address it. They won't look at it. They won't even respond to us at all because this
They're
absolutely
scared.
proves, the only thing you can say is, well, refraction. All of these mountains are 40 plus miles below the curve, but they're all refracting up and magically stopping at eye level. That's ridiculous.
Okay, so,
the peaks are
Pythagoras,
but where's Sydney?
Aristotle, Copernicus, Galileo, Isaac Newton, Einstein, Stephen Hawking, they were all wrong.
Never existed.
All of those guys.
Stephen Hawking was, how long do people live with ALS? You know the longest person to live with ALS? It's like 3 years.
Yo.
Stephen
Kind of a
Hawking
yeah.
did it for,
Right.
did it for
Yeah.
50.
50
Okay?
years, yes.
The Blaze
Did
Media
it for
is for
50,
knuckle
right?
dragging
And
idiots.
they never upgraded his voice changer. right? Come on, we have voices that you can't even.
That's awesome.
So we've stumbled into
You should have had a
conspiracy
Hatsune Miku voice
about
by,
Stephen
Oh my God,
Hawking.
Stephen
and then
Hawking
we would
was
catch
actually
it.
Yeah, that would be
He would pay more
incredible.
attention to him
An actual
anyway.
puppet.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he
An
was an
actual
actual
puppet?
An actual puppet.
Oh, man.
I love that.
All right. How do you explain a lunar eclipse? Because if your theory is right and the Earth gets in the way of the sun, between the sun and the moon, there should be a straight line across the moon, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
there's
so-
not.
so
It's curved.
Yeah. So the thing is, when you're assuming that the Earth is casting a shadow on the moon,
Yes.
right? The Earth is 250,000 miles away from the moon. Take a basketball, get a single source light, or even the sunlight, and put the basketball on the ground and look at the perfect crisp shadow. Now lift it up. When you're 5-10 feet away from the ground, you can't even see the shadow anymore. It completely diffuses, right? So you can't have a perfectly smooth shadow of the Earth going and hitting the moon. And the other thing is a little more complicated to see, but when you cast a shadow from a spherical object onto
What's this
another
image?
spherical object, it gets distorted. If you eclipse a ball with another ball, its shadow comes in as a parabola. It widens out and then it leaves as a parabola. That's actually just physics. Now, if you took a straight edge, it actually comes in on a beautiful curve. I'm not saying that the Earth is a straight edge that is eclipsing the moon. I think the eclipse of the moon is something completely
I'm just
different. I have a
implying.
complete section on my app. It's called the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app called Eclipses. It's hours and hours and hours of information. But if you watch that, you'll understand that eclipses actually prove the flat Earth.
You gave me a demonstration when we talked, Dave,
What?
and good to see you and hear from you again. But you
Eclipses
gave me a
actually
demonstration
prove it.
about the sun and the moon on your dial. You had that had that for me, and do you have that today? Because that it pretty much shows what we're talking about.
What did I show you?
The sun and the moon going around.
Yeah, so here's how it works. Our this is a top-down look at the Earth. The sun goes around once every 24 hours, okay? And the sun keeps track of
Imagine
the
having
hours
this
and the
as a
days. So wherever the
splash.
sun is, it's noon.
Right.
And now the sun will lap the moon every 29 days or thereabouts, okay? And so the moon, its position and its phase keep track of the weeks and the months. And the stars, if I turn on the stars keep track of the seasons and the years. Where's the stars? Come on.
Is he gonna explain the fact that half the
stars
world
won't
is
fire.
not
Oh,
being
that's because I'm hitting the wrong button. You hit
shown
the right button, it
by
works. The stars go
sun?
slightly faster than the
Yeah,
sun. So
look.
think about this. The stars and the sun are
Look at that
moving
hologram.
around the same speed, but the stars are going slightly faster. So that means that the sun will drift backwards through each zodiac about a month at a time. And then
I
it'll
think Ted
reset.
Cruz is connected to
365
all of
times around,
this.
the stars lap the sun. That's how the stars keep track of the seasons and the years. The sky is the perfect clock. This is crazy. Think about this. The finest watch in the world, what does it base its time on? How do you know a watch is accurate?
What, the atomic clock.
Yeah.
It's all based on what we call the sky clock. Okay, the sky is the most perfect clock. The sky tells us the time, right? The sky is an absolute perfect clock. But the sky in the heliocentric model is held together by gravity. This is called the three-body problem. You take any three bodies and you put them into orbits, and they go into chaos mode, and no computer can figure out what it's going to do next. They can do two bodies, and they can figure that out. But if you put three or more, it just goes into a random pattern, right? So we have all of these planetary alignments and all of the stuff whizzing around in that spiral I showed you before. And somehow all of the stars reset. I want people to go out tonight, take a picture of the stars at a certain time, put that picture
Yeah,
away,
man,
put
so
a
it
note in
can't
your
be-
alarm for next year, same night, same time, to do the same picture, and then compare them. Every star will be in the exact same position. Does that sound like we're corkscrewing through a heliocentric beehive? Or does that sound like the sky is all the stars
Yeah,
are fixed in their positions? The stars haven't moved ever in all of history.
Wow. Why? Okay.
We're corkscrewing.
Since we're on the
Or we're
stars,
so,
why why is the sky
astronomically
different in the
separated
southern
from
hemisphere
them
than the
that
northern?
perhaps they don't
If
move
we're
in
very
relation
flat.
to our sight.
Okay, very good question. So now, In the
But
heliocentric
that's
model,
a
stars
crazy
are
thing to
infinite
think.
distances, and that's actually provably false. In the flat Earth system, we don't claim to know what the stars are, but we claim that they're close. They're within the Earth system. So, Pat, let's do an experiment. You and I are
Within
in
the
a
Earth
room, just a
system?
regular room, 10-foot high ceilings,
The
and
Whoa.
all of the
boom. It's
recessed
a
lights
diamond
are,
boom,
are
man.
random patterns,
Yo.
and we can look up and go, oh, there's a bull and there's a starfish. Okay, and then now we're going to expand that room to 10 miles wide, and you say, you know what, I'm going to go for a walk. And you walk 5 miles away. Now, if you ever been to Las Vegas and look down a hallway, you can't see the other end of the hallway because the ceiling and the floor merge. Okay, right?
Yeah.
So you're 5 miles away. I can't see you because the ceiling and the floor merged at like a quarter of a mile, not even. Okay, so I yell. You can't hear me because my sound spreads out. Right? So you call me on your cell phone. You say, Dave. And I'm like, hey, look up. Can you see that bull and that starfish? And you look up and you see completely different lights in the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, in globe world, that floor of that room is spherical. You're looking at completely different lights. I can't see you. I can't see the lights that you're under. So you walked out south. In the flat Earth model, north is at the center. North is at the center, and south is every direction away from the center. Every direction away from the
That made
center.
absolutely
Okay,
no
so
sense.
south brings you,
Right.
every straight line brings you to
I
Antarctica.
just
So
heard
let me
a
just
word
jump.
comment
The
about
next question you're going to have is
how
maybe about circumnavigation. How's circumnavigation done? So here's a map. Here's a flat Earth map. We got our magnetic center. So my compass points to the center, no matter where I put my compass on here. So if my compass is a boat or a plane, I'm trying to go west, and I have to keep turning to maintain my heading of west. Is west is right here on the compass, right? Because that needle is always going to point to the center. West is a circle around, and east. Look, I'm going east. East is not a straight line, but this doesn't prove the Earth is flat because it's the same on a globe. Okay?
Yeah.
It's the same on a globe, except in the south, you'd have to turn the other way. Now, if I try to dead reckon west, so here's my compass, it's pointing west. I'm going to point that stick west, and if I follow the stick, immediately I'm heading south.
Okay, hang on a second.
South.
We're up
south
against a
is
break
right
here.
center.
Hang on, we'll let you finish coming up here in a second. Wow, interesting stuff from Flat Earth Dave. We'll get into more of it, and I got more questions for him that I think he probably has answers for.
What?
Coming up.
That's not how a globe works.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
But, so, the reason that true north always points north, right, is because you have poles. North is pointing to the positive pole, and
All right.
south would
since
be
we don't-
pointing to the negative pole, right?
We were talking about the
Yes.
reaction
Yeah.
to Flat Earth Dave. And, you know,
So there
it's
must
gonna
be some kind of
ongoing,
like
right?
southern pole
But,
that's
Yeah.
just buried underneath the flat
It's
Earth.
nice to take a break
Sure is.
from the
There's no
madness
southern-
of the world for a minute and just talk about something. To me, this is really interesting.
And we gave you
That's a
little
good point,
madness.
actually. So if you go to
And
the
yes,
South
there's-
Pole,
and
right,
We'll probably
and
have
the
more
it
madness
starts
before the
spinning
show
on
is
you.
over.
If you could.
But for now, we're talking to Flat Earth Dave because he believes
I
the
wonder-
Earth is flat, and
Well,
apparently it started in. I
yeah, I'm
think you
sure
said
they have an
2014,
explanation
right?
for that, but I
Dave?
wonder what that
Well,
explanation
that's when
would
I
be.
came across it. It's been around
Yeah,
forever
oh,
because,
right.
the Earth,
Yeah.
because the Earth is flat.
This guy's
Before we just continue, I just want to throw in a couple things. I don't believe the Earth is flat. I know the Earth is flat.
Okay.
All of the people that are freaking out there, they believe the Earth is a globe, but they can't come up with a single reason. I offer 3 Bitcoins for 1 globe proof, and no one has been able to even come close to coming up with one yet. Right? Here's the thing. As I said at the beginning, do not believe me. You need to listen to your insides and take a look at the information because
Does
belief
he
is easy.
have
You
3
believe anything you want,
Bitcoins?
and your day's over. Right?
Mhm.
But if you want to know something, it takes time and effort
He's-
and critical
he's
thought. And we're
calling
all
from
taught to be
Skype.
lazy, right? The lazier we are, the more
Bro,
popular
3
it is.
Actually, I
Bitcoins
believe-
DoorDash.
would be
Yeah.
insane.
Right? Not only do you not have to shop or cook or clean, you don't even have to get off your couch to get your password. Okay, dumbest thing ever. All right?
Yeah.
Most lazy thing ever.
So let me
So-
ask you this: you were talking about how far the moon is, and you believe the standard theory on that it's about 250,000 miles away from us, right?
No, I
No.
do not.
Oh,
I
you
believe
don't?
the moon is right in our sky, just as we see it. Go out when we're approaching a full moon, and hopefully there's a couple spotted clouds. You'll see that the moon only lights up the clouds that are right next to it. If the moon was 250,000 miles away, it would light up all the clouds. Okay, if it was able to reflect light back. I mean, when you do the math, and I try not to do the math because people short circuit, but as something gets farther away, it inversely gets dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. Every time you double the distance of something, it's a quarter of the brightness, right? For us to see the moon so bright where it casts my shadow on the ground, where I could read a book out, in the middle of nowhere with moonlight, the moon would have to be 60 times brighter than the sun from 100 miles away, right? If you do the math, it would have to be that bright for us to see it, the brightness that we see it. This is actual science. This is actual math, but no one ever does it because we're not taught to deal with large numbers.
So
okay?
tell me in miles how far the moon is.
I think you could actually
238,000
create a
miles,
scientific
right? Think
model
about this.
Right,
of
close
what
to
he's
you.
talking about and
How
prove him
far
wrong.
do you think it is?
I don't
Very
think the moon is a
easily.
physical object, and I think we all see it in a different position relative to our own. I think
Right,
it's,
look at that
it
face. He's
literally
like,
is
what?
Yeah.
Again, I don't claim to know what the moon is, but it's provably, camera, you zoom in on the moon and focus on the moon, and then you can focus on a star without changing the focus. That tells me that they seem like they're the same distance. I don't know what the moon is.
How far is the
sun?
sun?
No,
Wait,
that's
he
not
just
that's
said
not
it's not
how
a physical
cameras
million
work.
object.
miles
He
away.
said
I think
all
it is.
day.
I know
They
that.
tell us the
But-
sun is 400 times bigger than
Who's
the
got a
400 times
camera that
bigger
can
than,
like zoom in
than the moon and
to a
400 times farther.
star?
Therefore, they look like they're the same size.
Yeah, you
Or
can't.
maybe they're
Like
just the
cameras
same
have a
size.
limit.
Okay.
They have a like
Maybe.
zoom
I
limit.
mean, think about this. In the heliocentric world, you have a total eclipse of the sun, 400 times bigger, 400 times farther, flying through this crazy spiraling universe. The chances that they would line up perfectly, like precision quarters, is so infinitesimally small that you can't even calculate it. But then for it to happen again, that would be like winning the Powerball again and again and again and again and again. But there's eclipses every year.
Well, but
There's
that's the
eclipses all
way
time.
God planned it. You do you believe in
Well,
God?
I believe that there is a creator 100%.
Okay.
And this is an intelligently designed system.
Mhm.
And the thing is the eclipses repeat every 18 years. The whole cycle of eclipses repeats every 18 years. That
We need to
doesn't sound
ask
like
him,
a
does he believe
gravitational
in
heliocentric
Saturn
model. The
and the
heliocentric
Saturn system?
people are like, well, what difference does it make? I still have to go to work on
The
Monday.
Earth
That's what
system
we've
is
all
on
been
the
programmed to say.
interior of Saturn.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe we
Heliocentric
exist
system
in a
is
Saturn
hiding your
centric
creator.
system?
It's hiding your true power. It's hiding your true location, where you are. It's hiding more resources. It's hiding everything. It's the people that are running this world. Who are
Yeah.
they? We can talk about that. But they're the ones that
Ooh,
they hate God.
ooh, they.
hate,
Hey.
They got
they think of
mentioned.
us as useless eaters, and they want us working for them as their
What the
slaves.
Uh-oh. I think. I mean, he doesn't say it, but you know.
90%
He's
of
gonna
us are
say
going
it
to
all.
Jim
He's gonna say
mentioned-
Racha, our lizard people.
But I remember
Just
talking
the,
to the Flat Earth
Illuminati.
Society president. This was years
We're
ago.
gonna get it right up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
I believe his belief was that the sun was 37 miles from the Earth. Is that
I love it when you get
approximately
the
what you
actual like schizos online that say
closer
the
than-
Illuminati. It's just
Okay.
We can
that's
actually
just
prove
tickles
Right.
my
that
heart.
93 million miles is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, think about this. If the sun in the heliocentric model, the size that they tell us, if it was a mile over your head, it would fill the entire sky, right? It's so gigantic. It would fill the whole sky, right?
Mhm.
So we move the sun 93 million miles away, and because of perspective, it gets smaller, right? It
Yeah.
gets smaller, and now it's the size of a coin held at arm's length, right?
Right.
So we go from this to this just by moving it 93 million miles away. If we moved it another 93 million miles away, how much smaller would that get?
A lot.
Yeah, a lot smaller. And then if we moved it, doubled that again, it would be so small it wouldn't be able to see. But if we doubled it
We'd be
again, so now
dead,
it's 8
too,
times farther. Well, forget that. But 8 times farther, that's called a light hour. 1 light hour, because it's 8 light minutes away. 8 times 8, 64. We'll call it a light hour.
Yeah.
At a light hour, I propose that you couldn't even see the sun. Okay, this is what NASA says the sun looks like from all the different planets, right? Here's
Okay.
Earth. Here's Earth right here, right?
Here's Saturn.
Jupiter, it's pretty small, and then it's like you can't even see it out here. Okay, but we're told that we can see Polaris at 433 light years away. Polaris, our most important star, the one that doesn't move. Okay. 433 light years, and now astronomy is like, well, you know what? We could be off by 100 light years. 100 light years. Okay, light years are ridiculous. Think about this.
Does he know that
Closest
the
star.
stars that we're
Closest-
seeing are
Pat, there's a lot
like
of information to take in.
galaxies?
It
Okay.
is.
Because I'm beginning to wonder.
Closest star.
You can't trust anything outside
Well,
the
Well, that's what we've been told.
Is
That's what
four
we've
and a half
been
light
told.
years.
They're
That's
Oh, good
gallons.
point.
25
Good point.
trillion miles, right? And here's where people's brains shut down. They don't understand what a trillion is. Oh, we're in trillions of deaths. Oh, trillion this, trillion that. Okay. A trillion seconds, Pat. Do you know how long a trillion seconds is?
Something like 33,000 years.
You're the first person that's got it right. 31,000 years. Now think about that. A trillion seconds is 31,000 years. I think that's longer than the Earth has even existed. Okay, so if we wanted to
I'll
go
be
to the
honest, I
closest
wouldn't have
star,
been
we're
able to
traveling at
do
a
the
mile per
math on
second,
that
which no
one.
one has ever gone that fast. And we went
Not
for
in my head.
31,000 years. We're only
That's pretty good.
1/25th of the
That
way
was
there.
actually really
Okay, we're gonna
good.
do that 24 more times to get to the closest star.
Right.
And
Yep.
people want to believe in aliens coming from outer space, right? Scientifically impossible, vacuum outer space. Yep, there's so many things.
Wait, what?
We're not
What?
taught about the globe. We're not
Yo,
taught
it's a
about any
vacuum
of
out
this
there,
stuff.
Scientifically
bro.
impossible.
You mean
Other
to
than
tell me
just
that we
little
can't
pieces
travel
of
in a
information that make you
vacuum?
laugh at flat Earth. But once you
Yeah,
understand
apparently
what the
we can't
heliocentric
travel
model
in a
is, you're like,
vacuum.
nope, that doesn't make
Have
any
you
sense
tried
at all.
living in a
So
vacuum
why the
cleaner?
hoax? Why are they doing this? What obviously you don't believe the photos. You don't believe the videos. You obviously don't believe we've been to the moon. So what? Why are they doing this? What is the point?
I'll answer that. Since you mentioned photos, I'm going to show you 3 photos. Ready? Here we got.
Morgan Freeman.
Yo,
Morgan
Morgan
one,
Freeman.
2, right?
What?
I'm not sure who this guy is, and that.
Yes.
One of these photos is fake. One of these photos is fake.
Okay.
One of these photos is a painting. Can you figure it out?
Morgan
Jim Carrey.
Freeman's a painting.
I would guess the guy in the
I
middle.
think Jim Carrey's fake.
So the other 2 are real then.
Yeah.
Okay, they're all fake. They're all paintings. It was a trick question
Okay.
because when we're showed
Oh,
we're
Whoa!
told
God,
they're real.
got 'em.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
We're told that the photos of Earth are real, but when you actually look at them, right? I'm trying to talk and navigate. When you actually look at them, you realize that it doesn't make any sense. Hold on, here we go. This is what I'm looking for.
here we go. Here we
Right?
go.
This
Man's
is
cooking
this
on
is
there.
actually another painting, not a photograph.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then NASA shows us these are images of Earth. How do I pose the question? Which one is fake or which one is real? Because these are all photos from NASA.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This one is the blue marble, which was on everyone's iPhone. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And when it first came out, and they admit that it was made in Photoshop. Right. Here's the 2012, 2013. Look at the United States. I mean, I guess we're getting thinner. We're not getting fatter.
Yeah.
In 1 year, look how much smaller the United. But these are from NASA, right? Not a space
It's
agency.
Photoshop.
Okay. When you actually look at their stuff and measure it, okay, we can't go to space and measure, but we can drive across Mexico and Baja and we can measure it. It's 934 miles. We could actually confirm this. So they tell us the diameter of the Earth, a straight line through the Earth, 7,917 miles. I should be able to fit 8.5 of these line segments in between these 2 lines, right? I can barely fit 3. Okay. And so this shows us that this is not real. This is fake. This is all you need, right? This is all you need, right? And then they show us, if you compare it to a map of the world, this is what they're showing us about this area. All of this land, everything is on the other side of this ball, right? Okay. This is NASA, right? Here's another one from NASA. This is what they're
so
showing
brilliant.
us. This is, look, we got the Euphrates or whatever that is. I got my geography a little wrong.
It's called
And all of
Africa.
this is on the
I
other
think
side of
it's
that
called
ball.
Niagara
I think
Falls.
it's called the
If this doesn't
Nile.
make sense to you, it's
but
because you have
what is
common
that?
sense, right? You actually have common
Yeah,
sense, right?
common
And then
sense.
the
Common
everyone
sense
remembers the
isn't
blue
so
marble. This
common,
was
and
on
also
everyone's iPhone. This
geography
is
knowledge is
indoctrination.
stupid.
But when you zoom in, you can see these clouds are stepped and repeated, stepped and repeated, stepped and repeated. Same clouds again and again and again. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy that made it, Robert Simon,
Yeah,
a
now this
NASA
is
visual artist, in
schizophrenic.
an interview, he said he made it from data and he made it in Photoshop and he used Command X a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. He made it to make it look like what people wanted to see.
Wow.
I've actually read that. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
very interesting quote from that guy.
Okay, before the break, we're going to get into the circumnavigation of the
So,
planet.
basically
which
what he's telling
don't
me
think you
is
believe in either, right? Magellan didn't
all
circumnavigate.
of these satellite images that have been taken,
So
They do a bad
circumnavigate.
job
No
of
one- nobody
recreating it
has ever
into an
gone all the way
Earth.
around the Earth.
Gone around the
Well,
And
Earth.
hold
he's
on,
angry.
no, not correct, not 100% correct.
Okay.
If
On a
you
globe,
Photoshop
so
something,
we got
it means that
our south
thing.
at the bottom, our north at the top. You
Mhm.
can circumnavigate
Earth is
around the
fine.
equator. That would be east to west. Look, that's what Amelia Earhart did. She went
Look,
east,
I'm
east,
gonna keep
east.
the
This is
Earth.
east. Remember, the north is here,
He's
so your
in
magnet's
front of a
always going to
green
point
screen,
toward
so
your
Canada's
compass is always going to point
barbecue.
towards the north.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This is east. This is east. She went all the way around. Whether she went east or west, you can circumnavigate east and west on a ball and on a flat Earth. No difference. Doesn't prove either.
Okay.
All right.
Mhm.
On
No,
a
it
flat
would
Earth,
actually
you
prove
cannot go
either.
south and pop up over here. That doesn't happen. But on a globe, you
Right.
can. On a globe, you can go south and come right back up. Guess what? Nobody's ever done it. No
They
one's
have.
ever
Shackleton.
circumnavigated south.
They have.
Oh, okay. So they
Got a
have
problem?
gone east and west, or
East and west are
but not
circles.
south and then around and back
Yeah,
up
it's
north.
untrue. That's
Yeah,
actually
no
untrue.
one's done it. And there was a
They have.
there was a
But why
pilot
can you
called
go
the ZQ
north
pilot.
and
He
then
was going
pop
to do
around?
this trip from
I don't understand
north
why
down south and
it
pop up
has
around
to
the
be
bottom of the
north
earth, and we
center.
could track them. We're
Like,
like,
you
all right,
could-
this
it
is
could be
back in like
flat and
2014,
south center.
2015.
But
And
something that
we're
he's
like,
not
all right,
mentioned,
this is good.
and I don't know if he'd
Let's,
actually have an answer
let's check
for,
this out.
is
And
this map
here
makes
is the path
sense
that he took,
until you
right?
get to the
So he went from the
equator.
north, he went down to Alaska,
As soon as you get to the
California,
equator,
went out to these islands. Here,
the
Santiago. Then he went
distance
here,
between the
supposedly the
trips
South
east to
Pole, and
west
then they go, oh, the
are
weather's
going to
too
get
bad. We're just going to
shorter.
go this way back up
But
to
on
Brazil.
his map, they're going to get
And
bigger.
we're like, all right, well, he didn't do it, huh? Right?
Yeah.
And if you look
They're
at
gonna
that
get
on a
real
flat Earth,
big.
it was here, here, here. He just went here and then turned around and came back. Okay?
Okay.
That's all he did. Guess what? Guinness Book gave him the world record for south-north circumnavigation.
What? Really?
Wow.
They gave him the world record.
And what was
Even
the
though
guy's
he
name?
said he had
I
to
need to
turn
look
around.
that up. What was his name?
It was called. If you look it up, it's called. Just look up north-south circumnavigation spider tracks.
Huh. Okay.
Spider tracks.
So, and you said
Right.
supposedly Antarctica. Does that mean you don't believe there is an Antarctica?
Well, I believe that there is an Antarctica. Large bodies of water need containment. Think about this. A bathtub, you can have a tub of water, but if the tub is gone, the water's gone. A pond is just a bigger basin, and the land is higher than the water consistently around the edge, so that contains the water. A lake is a bigger pond. The world oceans are just a bigger containment. So, oops, that's not what I want to show you. Hold on. So here is our world, right? We got Africa, South America, America, right? And this is the shoreline of our world.
Here we go,
This
the
is the
ice wall.
shoreline of our world. It is Antarctica. Antarctica is supposed to be a continent at the bottom of a ball, and it's about 10 or
What
13,000
is that
miles
distance?
around. Everyone that's tried to circumnavigate it, the last one was
That
Captain
is
Cook. It
crazy.
took him 3.5 years. He went over
Like, if we're going to go from
68,000
South
miles.
America to
Now, the
Africa,
equator on the ball is only
that is going to be
24,000,
an
25,000
extremely
miles.
long
How did he go
flight.
68,000 miles around Antarctica? Okay? That makes no sense. So getting to the why, because I don't want
he
to
didn't go around
run
it?
out of time. Well, no, he went around, but he went all
Look how
the way
close
around
Argentina
here.
is to Antarctica.
So you
This
think
is
he went around
6,000
the
miles.
I see.
Wow.
Okay.
Anything, you
Huh.
could go there.
So somebody
60,000
has
the equa-
circumnavigated the flat Earth. Then.
Absolutely. Well, you
Right.
can't circumnavigate something that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So the globe has not been circumnavigated. The flat Earth has been circumnavigated, but
All
you
the way
never
around,
can go
yeah.
south.
Yo,
No one
shots
has gone
fired,
south.
bro.
No one's gone from Santiago and popped up in Australia or New Zealand. Okay? No
They
one's
have
ever done
actually.
it.
Yes.
No
Yeah,
one's
they
ever
have.
done it. Right? So
It has
here,
been done.
how do we
So
how do you
here's the
hide the
thing.
flat Earth? And what this
If
is
you
the
fly
why.
around, if you had a private jet
This is the
and
why
you
the
flew
lie.
around
And I
Antarctica
can find
and
what
you
I'm looking
always
for.
kept it on your
That's
lap,
what I'm looking for. Okay.
you could fly around
What
it.
is that? Okay.
In this theory,
So
you would be going around
you can
an enormous,
if you had a wild tiger as a pet and you had him on a
bigger
quarter
than
acre
the
fenced
equator,
in,
like
he'd be
3 times bigger than
walking
the
around that
equator
fence going, let me out,
distance.
let me
Just
out,
do
let me out. But
Yeah.
then you put him in a
Exactly.
safari
Yeah.
ship
In the
that
real
sends him
world,
50 miles
it does
around.
not work like
Okay.
that.
He'd be pretty happy if he comes to the fence.
But
He'd be like,
some of these things, like,
I'll
I
just go
mean,
back that
it
way.
sounds
And
kind
he's
of
going to be pretty
convincing.
happy.
It
Put a
sounds
human
kind
in
of
there.
cool
I
and
don't care if it's
whatnot. But like
5,000
some of it's
miles.
just
Human
false.
sees the
Like you
fence, they're
can,
I want to go to the other side of
like,
that
there
fence.
are
So
flights
how do
that
you
go
hide the
from
fence?
like Chile
Okay.
to
So what you do is
South
you
Africa
take
Mhm.
again I blew
How
my
do you
transition
get
here.
in?
through
That's not what I wanted to show
Antarctica,
you.
through the ice wall.
Where did it go?
Yeah.
Antarctica.
I'm getting too annoyed.
Maybe
Like
you're right.
the
It's not
flat
there.
Earth people.
Oh,
are
oh,
just-
oh,
I'm getting
no
too
names
annoyed.
getting
Wait,
triggered.
what's going on? What's going on?
No names
All
getting
I'm
triggered over
saying, all I'm
here.
saying
You
is,
cut
I'm
out
gonna
that
go get
circle,
some
you
more
wrap it around the ball, and you tell everyone you're not allowed to explore this
laughing
white area.
gas, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's where we live right now. You're not allowed to
Okay.
explore this
Limit.
white area down here. You're not allowed to go beyond 60 degrees south. Check out my stuff. Don't believe me. FlatEarthDave.com. FlatEarthDave.com. That's where you find me and all my information.
They patrol that area, right? Around the South Pole.
100%. Yes.
They keep you going? Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So can you hang with us a little bit longer?
Oh, I'll hang with you
Okay.
forever.
All right. Hold on. We'll come back. We'll come back for more of this, and we got some questions from you, our listeners. And if you have questions, 888-900-3393, the number to call as we continue our Freaky Friday show with Flat Earth Dave coming up.
Hey, you got your drinks right there on the floor.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
I'm Pat Gray. I don't know why I have a show.
Pat
Holy
Gray is
boomer,
here
that
on the
intro.
Blaze Radio Network.
Good morning.
Have you ever
Pat
heard of this
Gray.
guy before?
No, he's irrelevant.
I kind of seem to think
Friday.
that because
All right,
I've never
we
heard
are,
of this person.
Hearing different things today.
On
And
the
just,
Blaze.
to me, fun.
Next up on the
and
Blaze,
interesting.
Beetlejuice
And,
versus
there are-
Gary the
there's a-
Retard.
There are more people today. This is
Yeah,
fascinating.
right?
Just read this, I don't know, the other day. There are more people in 2023 who believe the earth is flat than 20 years ago. And is that because we've just been so beaten down with things that we don't believe? We've been so lied to by our government that
I think it's because the
it's just
internet
easier to
allows
tell us
for a
these
bunch
other
of dumb
things, and,
people to
yeah,
come
we'll
together.
believe it.
Yeah.
I don't
Called
know. How
TikTok.
many things are
Yeah.
being kept from us?
Gary the
million.
Retard, spell
how
red.
many-
A million things.
How many?
Yeah, I
What?
mean, TikTok,
Dude,
for
I thought this
instance,
Stephen
dude.
Hawking was a real
you have a
person.
bunch of like
How
these
many
really
years?
retarded women
Well,
that
since, like,
say, he's
1940
like,
or whatever
I got
it
the
was.
Today
cheat
we
codes
find
for
out
life.
we
You can
both
hack
knew
your
that.
life
They're
and
handheld
like have
puppet.
infinite money
That's
glitch and
interesting.
all this other stuff
Tell
by
me that's
just
not
quoting
interesting.
this
'Cause it is.
specific
And he's right about
string of
ALS. I mean, the
numbers.
Lou Gehrig's thing,
And
that
they're
usually kills
convinced
people
that
quickly.
Right.
He lived
whether or
with
not they actually
lived
believe
with
it,
for 50 years.
they've got like a ton of people
Lou Gehrig
that
actually
will
got it.
actually do
right,
it.
which is
What are the odds?
I mean, what are the odds? What are the odds? Lou Gehrig would
Because
come
people
down
are dumb.
with
Yeah.
Lou Gehrig's
I
disease.
know. I know.
Mind-boggling. It's a question
Matt,
that will never be
Pat
answered.
Gray is dumb.
I got a couple of tweets here, and
But
Keith, you got
holy,
some questions from
Flat
I've
Earth
probably got
Dave
listeners.
is
dozen
very
questions over here
dumb.
that have come in from listeners. Yeah.
All right.
He's got a nice guitar
So,
though. I do
Dave,
like
welcome back. Dave
my
Weiss,
my
Flat Earth
Telecasters.
Dave, it's been fascinating. Appreciate
What's
you
your
spending,
what's your
I like
go-to
my-
guitar?
time
Oh,
with us today.
hold on. He's back.
Um,
He's
Let me
back.
just do a quick plug here, and then I want to talk about something. This is the
I like
friend finder
a,
on my app.
Stratocaster.
It shows you the people that are waking up to flat Earth. So yeah, more people believe in flat Earth now than the mind control that we've all been under. But on the
No.
app, every day there's a new featured video, and here's my challenge: watch the featured video each day for 2 weeks. At the end of that 2 weeks, if you think you have a globe proof, send it to me
No
for the 3
thanks.
Bitcoins. But before you do, you have to hit the frequently asked questions
No
button,
thanks.
and this will answer all of the questions that you're going to ask. Everything is answered here that's being hidden from you on YouTube.
I want to see
Every
what
video
about
in here is
tides.
hidden from you. If you don't want to get the app, which is only $3, my YouTube channel, DI
Gravity,
it stands for Deep Inside the
Coriolis.
Rabbit Hole.
What's
All short
under
videos.
the
Everything's
flat
under
Earth?
5 minutes. Watch a couple of those.
Wow.
But warning, if you do, you're going to end up being a flat earther.
Have you ever talked to Kyrie Irving?
We tried to,
Yeah.
Kyrie knows, but his sponsors made him kind of back off of that a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I bet they did.
They made him
I'll bet
stop.
they did.
They.
All right, what are some of the questions people have?
Those
Okay,
filthy
so-
Jews!
So,
before we get the questions, can we talk about flight routes? This is really very important. So we
They're
got our
keeping my
North Pole
boy
right here.
down.
The equator is halfway between the center and the outside, so everything inside this circle
They
here
don't-
is the north.
They
and everything
can't
outside
handle the
Now,
truth.
every-
You
any
can't
flight
handle
from
the
anywhere in the
truth.
north to the north. There's no reason ever to cross the equator because no matter where you're going, there's no reason to cross the
What?
equator. And guess what? No flights in the north ever cross the equator. But on a
What are
flat
you
Earth,
talking
if you wanted to
about?
go from
What?
That is
Santiago
such a
What?
dumb
Santiago
thing to say.
to
What
Australia,
is
well, you'd have
that?
to
Wait,
run
what?
across. The south is out here, and that's kind of
What?
like a longer trip.
There's no
So if we
flights
look at
across the
actual
equator.
flight
Just
routes,
trust me.
there's a
What?
problem.
Yeah,
Okay,
what?
so here's the flight route from Buenos Aires to Johannesburg, and it goes all the way up to Amsterdam on the globe, right?
Mhm.
Well, this is what it looks like here. All right, that's a little weird, but let's just go a little farther. Here's one from Dubai to Auckland, and it stops in Tokyo, right? Look where Tokyo is. Why didn't it just fly here across the globe? Well, if you look at it on a flat Earth,
Oh,
Tokyo is right
wow.
there in line. Okay, here's another one, right?
Now you
Qatar
see.
to Argentina. It goes to Rome. This is where
See,
the
look,
World Cup.
we picked out
They
3
flew
random
to
points.
Rome first, right? Why did they fly here and then there, right? Because there's
We
no
just
place
picked
to
out
get
3
gas
cities in
here.
a
They flew
line
here
on
to get
the
gas, and then they
North
went
Pole
down.
Center map.
Boom, get gas, continue. It's a straight line. There's example after example after example of ridiculous flights that don't work on the globe. And now the people will say, well, that's because they have to go change pilots, pick up other passengers. Well, there's a thing called emergency landings. They happen when somebody dies suddenly,
Yeah,
which
when
is
there's an
happening a
event
lot.
when there's an event on the airline, yeah.
Right. When there's an event on the airline. So let's just look at a couple emergency landings. Here's one
I think you
where
can
they
actually
emergency
fly from
landed in
Perth to
Seattle. They were going from New
Buenos
York to Hawaii, and they went like 1,000 miles out of the way to Seattle. Right? They got there in no time. Like emergency, they landed in 15 minutes. Okay. How did they travel all the way over here? If you look at it, Seattle is directly online with that. Let's look at another one. Just do a couple more and then we'll move on. Okay. Here's one from London
Okay, wait,
to
go back
Pakistan,
to that.
emergency
Pause
landing in
that.
Moscow again.
Okay, rewind.
They
Okay,
got
okay,
there
right there.
in no time. Like emergency, they landed in
Stop
15
it.
minutes. Okay.
His globe and his map
Mm-hmm.
don't match, actually.
Yeah, like it's just a picture of the globe. It's not to scale. Like anybody can do that.
Well, no. What I'm saying is his flight path here says that it's basically going right past Los Angeles, but his flight path on his flat Earth says it's going through Seattle.
Well, that's what he's trying. That's what he's.
He's
That's what he's
saying,
saying.
yeah, that's why the globe is fake.
Yeah. He's saying this is an emergency landing from New York, and they had to
And they
emergency
should have
land
emergency landed in
Los.
LA.
Yeah, but they emergency landed in Seattle instead of Hawaii. But I mean,
okay.
his globe. I mean, is that to scale? Probably not. Is that even accurate? Like like probably not. You know what I mean? Like that's just an assumption that his globe is accurate on that. It's just kind of camera
Well,
trick
the odd
stuff.
thing about these maps specifically, the flat Earth maps, like the northern hemisphere is exceptionally squished compared to the southern hemisphere. So, if you take something like Africa, Africa is probably larger than Asia on a flat Earth map. And South America is certainly larger than North America.
Yeah, it's camera trick stuff. It is convincing, but it's all just camera trick. I mean, that globe he's got is not an accurate globe. Like you just have to be like, trust me, bro, that's an accurate globe.
I think what he's drawing is probably accurate. I just am not sure that the context. And like, I just probably would not believe things he's saying the way he's saying.
How did they get?
Well, what I want to know, right?
Here, if you look at it,
if we can take this to be a proper map,
yeah,
then if I can reasonably say that, hold up, let me do some quick math here. 1 + 2 is 3, minus 1, that's 2. I forget
quick
how
math.
that song goes. Quick math.
Quick math.
How big or how far to LA from New York? No, I don't
If
want
you
the
believe
cost.
the
It
narrative that
costs
you're told.
$287. Thank you. That's not a distance.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's a distance.
It
You
is
just tell 'em.
about 4,000 kilometers. So, if we have 4,000 kilometers from New York to LA, then we can assume
Mhm.
that we can take, given his way of like using a chopstick on his maps, right? To like, look, we're not going west
Yes.
anymore. Okay, so we're gonna use this chopstick, right? We're gonna measure New
Uh-huh.
York to LA. That's 4,000 kilometers. Now, if we were to measure something like
LA to
Argentina,
Hawaii.
or just the
Yeah.
southern tips, right? Like the as we go down to the tip of South America, we're gonna find where the 4,000 kilometer point is, and on a flat Earth map, that is gonna be exceptionally wider, which means one or two things: either NASA is keeping the fact that we have a lot of usable land south of the equator a secret from us, or because that's a possibility. Like most of the southern equator is, to be fair, backwater. Or, the further south you go, the closer you get to like light speed, because things stretch.
Mhm.
Which explains
Yeah.
how you can get
So
around like the if you're doing a circumnavigation of the of Antarctica, it's going to take no time at all because you're just going around a small portion of the globe. But on a flat Earth map, you're going around like the entire circumference of the equator, or actually more than the equator because like it's the equator's half the size of the globe. Um,
maybe the speed of light is slower closer to Antarctica. So that's why it stretches.
maybe. All I'm thinking is, as you like, everyone south of the equator. Wait, okay, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. The laughing gas is
Equator,
working. The laughing gas is working.
equator. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the further you get south, the more the cocaine sets in,
Oh, okay.
right? And so things just
Oh.
speed up.
Okay. Cocaine equator.
Zoom. Yeah, speed. Think about it. It's called speed.
Yo, it is called speed. I think that's crystal meth. I think you got the wrong drug, but you're onto something. You're onto something.
I'll take any
Okay,
blow
let
I
me
can
make
get my
that
hands
too.
on.
Yo.
Okay.
I mean, at the end. You can
Any
continue. Sorry,
All right.
Battle
All right.
is
my
Keep
rent
going.
is
directly
over.
online with that. So get another one. Just do a couple more, and then we'll move on. Okay. Here's one from London to Pakistan. Emergency landing in Moscow. Again, Moscow is way out of the way, but it's right. It's on a flat Earth. It's right online. It's right there. Okay. Right out of the right. Again. This one from Doha, Doha to Chicago, or Chicago to Doha, stopped in Moscow. That's like 1,500 miles out of the way. No, it's not. It's right on the flight route. Okay. There again. There's emergency landing after emergency landing. This is what. There's the last two are my favorites. Okay. From New York to Auckland, New Zealand. Right here as emergency, they flew to Fiji. Why didn't they just continue to New Zealand? And the answer is because that's not where Fiji is. Fiji
Where
is
else were they supposed
directly
to
en route.
emergency
Here's a
land?
zoom in. Coming from New York, Fiji is not over
Then
here.
the
It's right
water?
there on the route. Doesn't work on a ball. Works on a
They
on a
wanted
globe.
Fiji
Now this
water.
one is this is the final one. Excuse me. From Hong Kong, they were going to the UK. They ended up stopping in Germany. It was a 12-hour flight, and a family traveled together. Mother, father, small children, all sitting together. Mom dies suddenly. Okay, dead in her seat. Right. So they're 4 hours into the flight. They could stop
From
at
their plane,
dozens
they
of
saw the
airports
flat Earth.
along this flight route,
They did not
right?
see the
Why
curve.
didn't they stop? They didn't stop for 8
They
hours.
should
Could
be
you
able
imagine
to,
sitting
right?
next to your dead mom for 8 hours?
You should be able to see
Okay?
ice walls
This
from
is
that
how
high
far.
up.
I make the joke like how it's hard to sit next to your mom for 8 hours.
Maybe
Okay, so
33,000
here's the
feet.
real route.
It's pretty
4
high.
hours into the trip, they're over Russia. Two things in this political environment: if they landed in Russia and Russia was very helpful, that could spark peace. We don't want that. And the other thing is, why are we over Russia? Somebody might do what I'm doing and show you this is why they're over Russia, because the Earth is flat. And now after 8 hours, don't you think they should have just finished and gotten the family home? Don't you think they should have just gone, screw it? The kids are ruined for life.
Hold on. Do you think that this applies to every flight that is taken?
No.
Okay.
Northern flights, there's very little difference in the north. Southern flights, yes.
Okay. All right. That's what I want to
Okay.
ask. That's what I want to ask, because I've been
Southern
in flights
flights.
before where I have
I thought that
tracked
no
where
flights
we are
crossed the
according
equator.
to the little monitor there, and
That's-
on your phone
Yeah,
you
there-
can
there
actually
aren't
still
no
use the map
flights
app, and I've
crossing.
looked down and visually seen exactly knowing where I was. So I'm
In
just
the
seeing,
north.
yeah, okay, well, yeah, I'm talking about the United States, so yeah, that would apply there. Very interesting. Okay, so I've got two quick questions here, and I don't know, I don't want to assign you this
I think
map
we've seen
right
a
here,
couple
this
of flights
crude
in
drawing.
this,
Can you see this, by
emergency
the way, Dave? Are you?
I can. Yes,
Okay.
yes, I can.
Okay. So
I think the
somebody
one
sent
that
me a
landed in,
video one time
beach.
that said that our Earth looks like this. And so this is our rudimentary. This is North America, South America, Europe, and Asia,
It's
Australia,
a powerful
Africa. Okay.
flashlight.
And then
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
right.
I guess like the basin, like you described.
Right.
Okay. And then they suggested that, or the video they sent me suggested that there are
Outer lands.
Yeah, they're outer lands. That's why this basin, this ring is patrolled, and then there are outer lands there. So real quick, Dave, is this something?
I think this
similar
is
to
the
what you
Tom
believe? 'Cause I have
Green
a
show.
follow-up to
We're
it.
on the Tom Green show.
So here's the thing. We don't know what's beyond 60
I think
degrees
we're
south.
on
We don't know
Gary
what's
Springer's
beyond the
show.
shoreline of
Yeah,
Antarctica, but there's
yeah.
lots of stories, lots of evidence that there is. This
I don't
is a
know
map
which
that was
rabbi we're
found
talking
10
to,
centuries
but I'm
old,
pretty sure he's
published
one of
in
them.
1918 in a
I think we're
newspaper in
talking
Hawaii,
to
and it's
Rabbi
showing
Springer.
30 some odd continents outside of this. This is where Antarctica would start, right? So let
What
me show you something
is-
that happened with this map, which is very
What?
interesting.
Okay.
You know, there's ship tracking. You can track all the cargo ships in the world, and here they are. And you click on a ship, it gives you all the information. So we found a ship. We found several ships. 730 miles this ship is in from the closest port. How did it get 730 miles? And according to Google Math, that ship is 1.9
he
miles
saying?
above sea level, right? If Antarctica is what they say, how is
Okay,
a ship
for one, you can
that
spoof
far
your
in?
location.
Okay. And then here's another one. This one is 905 miles away. This is a little more zoomed out. Okay, how does a ship get 905 miles away and 2.37 miles above
So the cargo ships
sea
are in
level?
on it.
All right. So here's
they
what I
are.
think is happening. So we clicked on one of those ships, and it said it was registered to the nation of Kiribati. You guys ever hear of Kiribati?
Oh yeah, that's where the day begins. Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, so you have heard about it.
What?
It's out here in the middle of
Right,
nowhere.
right.
Okay, middle of nowhere. So I put a pin on it so you can see it. It's a sandbar. China gave them $10 billion recently, and I think America gave them a similar number not too long ago. Why are we funding them? What is going on here? They say that it's a most important trade route. Okay, a most important trade route? Like, why do we need to stop there? Are we getting fuel? Where are they getting the fuel
Yo,
from?
I love the
What are we
names.
getting? There's not even
London,
enough sand.
Paris,
They want to pick up
Poland.
sand.
What is
it's
this?
a tiny little atoll. And guess what?
What
On
is
this
this
island,
thing?
just out of coincidence, there's a Captain Cook bed and breakfast hotel. Captain Cook, the guy that tried to circle Antarctica.
Okay.
So they got a Captain Cook hotel. They got
Yo,
ships in impossible
coincidence
places
much.
in Antarctica, right? And then
Captain
think about this:
Hook.
on a globe,
Wait,
all the time
this is
zones
in,
are lines from the
Peter
North Pole
Pan.
to the South Pole, equally divided up.
This is in
24
Neverland.
lines all the way around, and you should have all these symmetrical time zones if we live on a
globe.
world like they tell us. You got all the time zones, but then over here you got this weird time zone, and when we zoom in on it, this is a time zone. Okay, this is a time zone, right? And guess what's right here? Kiribati. In the most the most suspicious place over. So finishing up so I think that that Kiribati could be a very important trade route to the outer lands. These ships are just going out here. Now, our globe prison tells us, oh, this ship is on
Wait, wait, wait,
Antarctica.
wait,
No,
wait,
it's
wait.
not.
Okay, so
It's
he
going to
thinks
these
that
other
we
lands.
aren't
Maybe
on
there's
a
more advanced
flat
civilizations out there. Maybe they're
globe.
trading tuna fish,
He
computer
thinks
chips,
we're in
weapons,
a
children.
ice
I don't know. We
prison,
want the
and
right to go
outside
explore.
of
Okay,
this
so here's my question.
prison
Though.
is
I got
like
my question.
more
All
land.
right, so this is what it looks like right here.
Yes,
And
that
this
is
indeed
exactly
the way
what
it's
he's
set up.
saying.
And we have, I guess, what I've heard to
And
refer to as a
Kiribati
local
is
sun.
key because it's on
okay?
the
So we're still on the same page, right?
fucking date.
So
or
if the
something.
sun is doing this, right, and stop me if this isn't right, Dave.
This is
I'm not-
advanced
This is
schizophrenia.
part of the question.
No,
I'm
no,
just-
I got it.
No,
You're
this
asking
looks
how-
like what
how
he
do
said with the
it-
watch
it-
app.
I just don't want to get too far away here and go on a 10-minute answer. Hang on a second. So if the sun
Wait, what?
is doing this number right here, and it's that close, then is the ice, this basin, not melting? Because over here, there's enough sun to keep these lands green and warm, presumably. But yet somehow here, it's too cold. You see what I'm saying? I'm just trying to figure out how a local sun is keeping it green here, too cold here, and then green here again.
Okay, so what if this is a really expanded? Let me make this a little bigger. So if we zoom in, this could be
Holy
high
shit.
res. We got our
Holy
we're at the center. I can
shit.
put my
Is
hand
this
all the way
where
over there.
Charlie Kirk
And
escaped to?
each area has its own sun. Each pond has
The
its own sun.
Garfin.
Each
Whoa,
pond-
whoa!
Now,
Each
again,
area
I'm
has
not
its
claiming
own
any of this is
sun.
real. There's flat earthers out there
Why
that say there's
can't we
nothing
see
beyond
them?
Antarctica. God
On a
just
flat Earth,
created
we
this
should
circle
see
for
them.
us, right? I think that all
New
of this is
Schwabenlands, the
considered the
Nazi
Earth.
Must be
experiments
the
in
Diamond
Antarctica. They
Dome.
But
found
again,
That
I'm not
Diamond
claiming that it's
Dome
real
in
or
the
not.
way.
It's scientifically possible where outer space is scientifically impossible. High pressure next to no pressure without a physical barrier.
Hitler was
That can't
trying
be
to go
demonstrated
beyond the
anywhere.
ice
How do
wall.
we have a high pressure Earth adjacent to no pressure when we can't do that here anywhere in a lab or in nature? You
High
can't
pressure
have high
Earth.
pressure next to low
It's
pressure without a physical barrier.
14.7.
But somehow
How is
Earth does.
Does the flat
14.7
Earth
pounds a
theory that,
square
that
inch
you're,
high pressure?
pitching here, what does that say, if anything, about other planets? Are those spheres if we're not, or are they similar to what we would be
Those
shaped
are
as?
holograms.
Planets, and used to be called wandering stars because that's exactly what they are. They're wandering stars. We don't know. The moon looks spherical. Sure, I actually think the moon is spherical, but I don't even know if it's physical. Okay.
This is what the
But
lizard
you
people
can't
don't want you
say,
to
You
know.
can't have a
what
physical
shape something
thing.
is. For example,
Or
take a look at
let me
this.
rephrase.
So
You
we
can't
look at
have
this and I
something
say,
that's
the sun or the moon.
spherical
Can
also
you,
not
well,
be
maybe it is. It's
physical.
sunrise, sun, moonrise. Is it spherical? It sure looks spherical.
Have you ever
right?
seen
But
a
in
moon Earth?
reality,
Have you
that's
ever
how our eyes
inhaled
work. Our
Ritalin?
eyes bring everything to
Yeah,
a
have you
point.
inhaled
So no matter what
Ritalin?
shape it is, we see a
No, I
sphere.
can't say I have
right?
inhaled
When we bring it forward, we
Ritalin.
see that it's
That
actually
was
a
spared
train
me.
with all
Thank
different
you,
lights on it,
parents.
square
I
lights
really
and red
appreciate
lights.
that.
But we saw that as a sphere in the distance. That's at a quarter of a mile away. Okay. So looking at the lights in the sky, believing that you can see them at hundreds of trillions of miles away, and that they're all in the same position all the time in this beehive that we live in, that's just not thinking.
Okay, more with Flat Earth Dave coming up here in a second. But let me tell you about real estate agents I trust. This is because you.
No, but what about my new Eden humidifier? I need my humidifier.
What about my timeshare? What about the Blaze Media hoodie? Don't
What about
bash
my
me, bro.
beeswax lip gloss? I want my lips to taste like honey or something.
What about my Flat Earth Dave watch? My Flat Earth watch.
Welcome. Thanks for being here. 888-900-3393, heading into the 4th of July Independence Day
What about a
weekend.
Diamond Dome hat?
Well,
Yeah,
that's a little bit of a stretch. I guess
Ooh.
everybody's extending this
That could actually
weekend
be good.
to Monday.
Yeah, I mean, if you got to work on Monday, get another gig.
And it's a yarmulke.
I mean, hello. What are you doing
Because
with your life?
you're
Ooh.
being used and abused.
Right.
That should not happen.
So we'll be back live Wednesday.
Wednesday.
But we'll
My
have best ofs
my
Monday.
yarmulke
Okay.
has
Unless we
the
fall off
flat
the edge of the earth between now and then, because that could happen.
That could happen.
That could happen. Let's go to Rick
Why?
in Maine. Rick, hi. You got a question for Flat Earth Dave?
I do. Hey, great show, guys. Good morning.
Thank you.
My question for Dave is, so with the Earth being flat, there must be a thickness to it. So just how deep is the Earth? And if it is flat, what's on the opposite side?
I like that.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank
Rick.
you, Rick.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Dave, how about that? How thick is the Earth?
Short, sweet, to the point.
The deepest hole ever dug is just under 8 miles. It was in Russia. It was called the Kora borehole. The United States and Russia worked on it together. They tried for years to get
Why would
below
you
that
believe-
depth, and they
No, they
couldn't. They
didn't.
hit
That
an
was the
impenetrable
Soviets.
barrier. And on the way down, while they were drilling, they were using ground-penetrating radar that was wrong in every prediction that it made. But somehow they know what the next 4,000 miles are. That's like drilling through the skin of an apple, getting it wrong. You're halfway through the skin of the apple and knowing what's at the core. This is a meme that's in everyone's textbooks. It's not real. It's fake.
Interesting. Okay. So the answer
So-
is 8 miles? It's 8 miles.
Dan, no, no. I don't think. I think that I don't know. There's another firmament down there. I don't know, and nobody knows. Globe believer or flat Earth believer.
Wait.
Okay,
Wait, so
why don't we fall off
on
the
the
edge
other
of
side of the
wherever
flat
the
Earth
or
is
does
like
it extend
That's
infinitely?
a
end of
Garth.
land?
What?
That's a Garth,
Imagine
bro.
flat
Welcome
Earth is
to
like
a garden.
It's like
in Kansas, 100
Twilight
miles around lake. You can't even
Princess.
see
We
it from
have
Yeah,
like
Okay,
the
and you're sailing around the
the
lake, and the center is the
alternative
North Pole,
high
so you can
rule on the
circumnavigate
other
east and
side of
west,
the
making
planet.
circles around it. But
Yeah, I
if you go
think
away from the
so.
center,
That
which is
seems
south
to
in
be
any
what I'm
direction,
hearing.
and then you hit the edge of the lake, can you fall off the edge of a lake?
Yeah.
No.
Well,
I don't
The edge
think
of the
so.
lake, we'll call that Antarctica.
Okay.
Climb up out of the lake, start walking away. A mile later, you can't even see the lake. So this is a smaller scale of the flat Earth.
There's another
Let's say you keep
firmament
walking and
down
walking,
there.
walking, all of a sudden you find
Nice.
another lake. Wow, another lake. Get on a boat, go out there. That's a whole nother world. That's another piece of the plane, if you will. What's a piece of the plane? A planet.
Yo, bro,
Wait.
bro,
What?
bro,
Okay.
bro,
Okay.
you have
Let's see.
got to
We
be
got some questions
kidding
from
me.
listeners from on Twitter.
Yo,
Jimmy
that
Dimples
is the most
tweets,
low IQ
what's
take
Flat Earth
he
Dave's
has
explanation
said
for
yet.
the toilets in the northern and southern hemisphere spiraling down in different directions?
Planet.
Yeah, so on my app, if you go to the frequently asked questions and you click the Coriolis button, which is on here somewhere right there, Coriolis button, it'll explain it's not true. They don't spin in different directions. It's all how the water enters the basin. I have sinks and toilets in my house that spin in opposite directions. So
let
it's
me
a
get this
myth,
straight.
and the guys at the equator
This
doing their
man
little parlor
believes
trick,
because
it's
his
totally
toilet
exposed in the
water
Coriolis
spins a
section on
certain
the app.
direction. That the
What about
planets we see in the
seasons?
sky
How
are
does that work?
actually
We have different
just
seasons on this
like
planet, and
directly to the
you would think
west
that
of
would
us
be
or
a factor
something.
of our
Just a few thousand
wetness.
kilometers past
You would
Antarctica.
think that, but we're
Well,
taught that the tilt
that's
of the
not
Earth
quite exactly it. It's
that
he's
is what causes the
asking
seasons when we're tilted away
that
from the sun. Do you
on
know that during our
southern and
northern
northern
summer we're
hemispheres,
farther from the sun, and during
the
our
toilet
northern winter we're closer to the
flushes
sun, right? And if it was the
counterclockwise or
tilt,
clockwise,
that
right?
would mean in June here in Connecticut,
Now
when the sun is on
he's
the horizon rising, it should be
he's
Arctic.
got
Okay,
some
I'll be
sort of
honest with you.
2.5
explanation
million
to
miles
that.
I've not
farther,
really
and it's the
paid too
most
much
tilted we could
attention to
possibly
which
be.
way
But
the
I can
water
feel the heat
flushed in a
immediately.
toilet
But
on
in
each side of
December
the
at
hemisphere.
noon, when the sun is at
Nor
its
Like
highest
nor
when I
have
was in
I.
Australia,
I can
I didn't
feel.
really
I
pay
can't feel.
too
I
much
can't even feel the
attention
heat.
to the fact
So
that it might have been
seasons actually
spinning the
prove the
opposite
Earth is flat.
direction.
There's a whole
Nor
season
have
section
I.
here.
Nor
Just
have
watch
I.
it, and
But
then you'll
That's 'cause
understand
you
that they
don't
actually make no
care.
sense on a globe. They
You
only
don't
make
have
sense on a flat Earth.
scientific
That's great.
You can
brain.
find a little bit farther if you want a quick example.
Okay, go ahead.
Quick example is you and I are sitting out in a field and it's freezing cold. We're 20 feet apart because we want to be safe. And we're talking to each other, but our beers keep freezing, right?
What?
And then somebody comes over with a long pole,
Wait,
15
wait.
feet high, and holds
Pause
a
it
big
quickly.
heat
Pause
lamp
it.
directly over your head.
Did he
You're in a
literally
field,
just
you're sitting 20
say
feet apart.
we're in a frozen wasteland,
Yes.
but we're 20 feet apart from each other because we want to be safe?
Yes.
Yes.
What is wrong with this man? I need to be
Well,
safe from
you
you
don't
in this frozen
understand.
wasteland, so I'm gonna stay 20 feet away from you.
Well, I would probably want to stay 20 feet safe.
I don't think man's finished cooking. Let man
Well,
cook
okay,
over here.
I'm sure he has some kind of very strange math to back this up,
I'm sure
but
too.
I'm
But
not sure. I'm not too sure I'm really gonna catch it when he says it, or if he even does.
Well, let's follow the yellow brick
Example.
road.
Okay, go ahead.
exactly.
Quick example is you and I are sitting out in a field and it's freezing cold. We're 20 feet apart because we want to be safe. And we're talking to each other, but our beers keep freezing, right? And then somebody comes over with a long pole, 15 feet high, and holds a big heat lamp directly over your head. And now you're warm, your beer melts, and life is good. Well, I say, hey, Pat, where's that light, that sun, and you point straight up. It's directly above you. But I'm over 20 feet away. I say it's over there. It's like at a 45-degree angle for me, and I can't feel the heat. Right? It's like I barely feel the heat. You're warm. That's your summer. That's my winter. Now that person walks over to me, keeping it at the exact same height, 15 feet. I'll watch it get higher and higher and higher, like my summer sun, and you'll watch it get lower and lower and lower, like your winter sun. You get cold, I get warm. That's how seasons work.
Okay. All right.
Dude,
what about
that's
satellites?
like
Where are they?
that explains
was
literally
so
nothing.
Satellites, so
dumb.
believing that you can see a satellite the size of a Volkswagen, a Bug, at the distances that they tell us is absolutely ridiculous. Because you see a car 20 miles away, right? These satellites are 250
Yes,
miles
actually,
away
I
and farther.
can.
Right, a 747 flying at altitude is gigantic, but when you look at it at altitude, it's a tiny little speck. You can see it, you can't really make out the engine.
I love
If
how
you
he doesn't
doubled the
say
height, you couldn't even see
32,000
the
feet. He
plane.
just
That's
says
10
at
miles,
altitude.
right? The International Space Station is 250 miles, and you think you could see that with your naked eye? And satellites are even smaller. I have a whole satellite section
So
here.
here's
Also,
a
satellites are
interesting
on
fact for
balloons,
Mr.
right?
Man
And
here.
and NASA controls
The
all of the helium
human
in the world.
eye
Did you know
can
that?
I
literally
did
pick
not
out
know that.
a
No.
singular
NASA
photon.
admits they launched tens of thousands of these balloons.
A singular
all the time.
photon?
There's
Okay,
there's
I'm gonna
balloons
need
launched
some
every
Yeah, you're
single
gonna.
day,
Yeah, you can
carrying
look me up on that.
1,000-pound
You can look me
satellites
up on
on them.
that. But
I
it's
think
like
that's right.
And they're crashing all
it's
over the earth.
in
They quickly get
in
picked up, but everybody's got a high def phone
it's.
in their pocket, and there's tons of
I don't
videos
remember the
of
word.
these
It's tiny.
satelloons crashing.
Like we're
The
talking
Satelloons.
Wait, what is a satellite?
Is this your app? Does
very
this look,
limited
correct,
light,
for your
and
logo
the
for your
human eye
app
can
in the
pick that
store?
up.
It says has big giant FE on
Can
it.
you
I
zoom
feel like
in on
we
it? It's
missed
by
him
Blue Water
talking
Bay.
about
Yeah, that's my
satellites,
logo. But there is a
because of that.
knockoff one on Google Play. The easiest that looks like my app.
Yeah.
But flatearthdave.com. The
I'm
link is there
curious
for Android
how
and Apple. So
Blue
we
Water
check
Bay.
it
have
out.
actually
Okay.
mapped
All
out
right, we got time
the outer
for one
lands.
more quick segment. If you can hang with us, we'll come right back with that and got
Yes,
some
you fit that.
other interesting questions here to get into. It just, I mean, you can't address it all, right? In one sitting, you just can't. You could spend the entire weekend.
So what I'm curious about is he's got himself some kind of map
Unleashed on Twitter. If
from
you've got questions,
theoretically
you
10
know what tomorrow
centuries
is?
ago.
It's the day BYU
Yes.
is officially a member of the Big 12 Conference.
It's also
Look who's coming to the big guy table.
Right, that's right.
More importantly, I
So
would argue,
yeah,
it's also the
it's
start
been
of not Pride
a
Month.
conspiracy.
Oh my gosh. Woo-wee. Yeah, those are close. Those are close.
This is Pat
They've
Gray.
been keeping it under wraps.
Unleashed.
They have been keeping it.
So 10 centuries ago, we had ourselves a map
All right, got a
of
few
like
minutes left
all
with
these
Flat Earth
lands
Dave.
outside of
I
our
will
little
admit to being
ice
surprised.
wall.
A little surprised. Am I
Yeah,
convinced?
and we had
Probably not. But still, I mean, you've surprised
we
me.
had
Dave. It's
Sticks in
it's interesting.
Alexandria
The things
telling
you gotta
us
say. We got this question from a listener. Silent Commander tweets, FM radio is line of sight. So when you're
But
driving,
Alexandria
the
would have
station
not
fades
been
before
10
75
centuries,
miles.
right?
What about FM radio?
No,
If the Earth was
Alexandria would have
flat,
been
shouldn't
like
FM
25
signals be heard
centuries
everywhere?
ago.
No, because
Okay,
sound, it's just
okay.
like sound and light. They propagate. They only go to a certain distance.
So this is
However,
much more recent. That
Marconi did a.
I was thinking
I forget
millennium.
what year it was.
Yes.
Never
He
mind.
transmitted
So
thousands of
I'm
miles
thinking
across the ocean.
perhaps
Everyone
it
said
could
they
be
couldn't
that
do
it
it, and he was
curves
able to
at some
transmit where there
times,
should have been
and
hundreds
then
of miles
other
of
times it
curvature.
flattens out.
But he was able. Again,
Hmm.
light, sound, radio waves are all they all spread out. Now microwave transmitters are admitted line of sight, but they have microwave transmitters going 300 miles, which is impossible on a ball. Absolutely impossible. Just finishing 10 seconds on the satellites.
Okay.
Satellites crash all over the place. NASA is in
Look at
charge, of
Dr.
course, of all
Evil.
satellites. They're in charge of all GPS. They're in charge of all international flight routes. And just like the flight routes, all of the underground sea cables, all of the fiber optic cables, none of them go from southern location to southern location. They go all the way up to the north and then all the way back down. None of them cut across the bottom of the ball. Why is that? Because they don't live on a ball.
Because those countries are shitholes.
All right. What causes the oceans to move? What's
I
responsible
would
for
not
that?
land in fucking Rio.
So
What causes
like-
that, bro?
that is a very good question, and there's a thing called tidal nodes. where there's these points all over the earth where there's no tide, and then the high tide and low tide circle around them. Okay, if you go again on the frequently asked questions part section, there is a tides part where you have all of these tidal nodes, right? So everyone says, well, it's the moon that does it. When there's a full moon, there's extra high tides. Well, guess what? When there's a new moon, which is a moon, it's just not lit up by the sun in the heliocentric world, how come there's still the same? How come the tides aren't gigantic like they are when the moon is full? And I say that it's a whole electromagnetic system. Why is there no tides on freshwater? Because freshwater doesn't carry the current that salt water does.
Water
The Earth is a giant power
electromagnetic?
system. It's like a big
Is
battery.
water
The sun and
magnetic?
the moon are the anode and the
course it
cathode.
is.
The salt water carries the current. The land is the salt bridge,
Okay.
and that's a battery, right? So if
It's
the
a
Earth
physical
wasn't
thing.
pulling on the water
It's
like
a
they
land, it's a battery.
it would,
We're
it would
all
pull on
losing
fresh
brain
water
cells.
too,
Okay.
right? Neil deGrasse Tyson says you
Oh,
get a
nice.
high tide here because the moon is pulling the water away from the Earth, and you have a high tide here because the moon is pulling the Earth away from the water. This is what they say. Okay, that
Right.
sounds like
Did
that
Neil
doesn't make any
actually
sense.
say that?
Yeah,
I'm gonna need
like
a source on that.
the moon
Well,
is
you gotta
pulling the Earth
understand, there's
away from the
useful
water. That's why
idiots.
there's another high tide on the other
Yo,
side of the Earth, which isn't exactly accurate,
yo,
but that's the model they tell us. And the Earth is
what a
rotating
dig.
through those two bulges. This is the official story. It's ridiculous.
Okay. I had another. Oh, I wanted to address
Ridiculous.
too because you brought up
It's
stars
impossible.
earlier.
Yeah.
And you fully explain to me the theory as it applies to stars. They're not there. They're just lights. You don't know what it is. It's like recessed lighting for the planet. What are stars and how far away are they?
Again, I don't know what stars are. I think they're have
What
to
is
do
this
with
background?
our reality. They have to do with our life. I think stars are
reality,
sentient. That's
huh?
me, Flat Earth Dave talking. I'm not speaking for everybody, right? But when our consumer optics, when we zoom in, this is the star Sirius. That's kind of weird. It doesn't look like what they tell us. And then if you look at the star Arcturus, you can see with your naked eye, it looks like this. Does that look like a burning ball thousands of times bigger than the sun, trillions and trillions of miles away? Or is that something else? I'll go with something else. I don't know what it is. Okay. But that's Arcturus. You can see that with your naked eye. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No,
So
no, I
what is
can't
that?
see that with my
Not a burning
naked
ball
eye.
of gas in a vacuum, scientifically impossible. It's something
You can
here
look
within
at
the Earth system.
And
Mars
again, then
with
the
your naked
planets
eye
you
and
think
see
are just
it's
the same thing as the
round,
stars.
but
They're
you're
just
just
some
wrong.
light that you can't really
If you
explain.
look
We
at
don't know.
Well,
Sirius,
you know what?
you
They're
can just see
wandering
that.
stars. I don't know what they are.
Well, see,
you
the
know,
issue with looking
I
at
used to laugh
Mars,
at
right,
astrology because astronomy
is
was the
that
real science, and I found out
you're
astronomy
looking
is
at,
pure
I guess,
pseudoscience,
like a
and
mirror,
astrology is the
because
real
when you're
science.
looking
Do
at
I understand
Mars,
how it
you're
works?
actually looking
Absolutely not.
like
But there's a
to
lot of people out there that have
directly
explained
to
it,
your
you know,
west, to where
a
Mars
lot
is
better than I
located
can,
outside
a
the
lot
Earth.
better than I do.
Wow. Well, interesting stuff. And
I'm
again,
thinking
you
if
have
I
a lot
look
of
west
answers
and I
that
look above the
the
tree
people
lines, and
to
I see a
questions
wall.
people have on your website, right? Why don't you tell us where that is again?
So
It
flatearthdave.com,
seems
you
like
have
it's
a thing
pretty
called the Crash
tall.
Course there. Turn off Netflix for a week and watch the videos in the Crash Course. They're fascinating.
Nice.
Again,
Shameless
don't believe
plug.
A
anything.
week?
Just watch it and then you'll know.
Okay.
Right? If you want something
Shameless
and
plug.
the tips of your fingers, my app is amazing. It does
Well, I mean,
tons of
his
things. And
URL
if you
has
hit the
been plugged
friend
the
finder,
entire time.
let me just hit that real
It's
quick.
been on
Yeah,
his
that
URL.
is
This will
fair.
show you
That
where the
is
other flat
fair.
earthers are in your area, and you can actually contact them. You can people are using
The
it as a
what?
dating app. They're using it as a
Dude.
job app.
A
It's
flat
friend
Earth
finder.
dating
Dating
app?
app?
Bro, you
Take a
have to
second
be
load, of
kidding
course.
me.
This
What?
might
Here we
be
go.
the
Look at
You
this.
Why?
Look
craziest
have
at
thing.
to
this.
be
It's a
kidding me.
little
Okay,
This
crazy.
is
okay,
These are the
I'll
that is
be
people
the
that
last
honest.
my app,
thing
and
I
that's only
thought
like
I
one
would
This is
percent of
ever
flat earthers out
insane.
there.
hear.
Flat Earth is out of the
I'll
bag,
be
and
honest.
the
When it
elite
comes
are
to
freaking
dating,
out
Flat
because
Earth
that's
Flat
theory.
Earth
probably not one of my
shows
major
people that
concerns.
we are truly powerful
It's like,
beings here at the
do you
center of
believe in
creation,
flat
and
Earth or
not random
not?
specks flying to an infinite universe. So back
Flat
to why the
Earthers
That
say
is
they
lie.
that's
got
my
Why the
mail.
major
lie is they're
concern.
hiding our true power. They want to depower us. They want us to give away
Followers
our
just
free
don't
will
get it.
for government. Govern the mind. Government is
Mm.
control the
Oh,
mind.
Oh
Okay?
no,
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 They want us
Government.
no,
giving away our God-given
Government. Go to
no.
the green
the government
mind.
doesn't give us rights. They can
Government.
only ask us to give them away, and if we give them away, that's our fault.
This dude's a
FlatEarthDave.com.
sovereign citizen.
Go there, check out.
I'm just
all
telling you
his,
right now.
all
Oh,
his
yeah.
stuff because it's
Absolutely.
If anybody
That's a
has another
huge
show like
shout.
this or knows of a show that wants to have this conversation, flatearthdave.com, book Flat Earth Dave. We can start the conversation there.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
Dave, good to see you again. Thank you.
Dave
Nobody's
Weiss,
winning that free Bitcoin.
flatearthdave.com.
I'm telling you that.
Interesting. I mean, I'm fascinated by that. That's incredible. The one thing that
Fascinated
is
by, like-
kind of gnawing at me is what he said, like right at the beginning about traveling through space at 500,000 miles an hour. Is it just me that I don't think I've ever heard that claim
that we're traveling through space?
traveling around
You
the
mean
orbiting
that
at
we
500,000
are traveling in
miles an hour?
space at speed? What?
What is it? I mean, I honestly
less than that.
That's crazy.
Less than that.
Yeah,
I
just
thought
Googled
that
how
we
fast
were
Earth
serene
moving
Yeah.
and
it
as
came back
peaceful
with,
as the lake
67,000
that he
miles.
showed
Yeah,
us.
that's a little
When
more
I
like it.
when I
But it's
get
still
in my
fast.
car,
I mean, it's fast.
It's above the
it's
speed
so
limit, I'll tell
calm.
you
It
that.
can't be more than a
you know,
couple miles
gravity
an hour.
keeping everything in place. He doesn't obviously buy into that.
That's true.
No.
I
It's
have
fascinating.
you
Isn't that
know,
interesting? The moon. He referenced the moon
coffee
many
and
times,
stuff
but
at
also
times.
multiple times.
Sometimes I put
said
that
something
coffee
about
and
it not
stuff
being
into my
physical?
cars.
Wait,
he wasn't
Primarily,
sure.
I am on
He's not sure.
motorcycles.
if it's a physical
And
object.
when I put my
don't
coffee
use
and
the
stuff into
green-
cars,
Interesting.
they tend to be
And
fairly
my
stable.
My favorite part of the interview.
Look,
is
I don't
that
care
Stephen
what you
Hawking
do.
is a-
Just
was a
don't use the
pilot.
green
100%.
handle
I don't care.
unless
you,
it's
you
Christmas.
can try to convince me about the Earth being flat all
Right,
you want.
fine, whatever.
But Stephen Hawking.
But
The
this
green
is,
handle is the
that-
festival.
Man, you have really
Now, if you want to
exposed
use
something
coffee,
and I
it
believe that
might
to be
wake you up.
100%
It might
true.
wake
now.
your
The
engine up.
smartest, most intelligent man of the last
Okay, what is
100
this
years.
juice speak you're telling me? I
Was
don't
a
know what
puppet.
green
I mean, I
handle
think of
even
All
is.
a ruse.
I think of the
The
hour.
green handle.
What were we up to? Hour and 15
Idiot.
minutes that we had Flat Earth
No
Dave
name doesn't
on
have a
with
clue.
all of his
No
very
name doesn't
interesting
have a
information
clue.
that we'll need to go and cross-check ourselves and do our own research. Like you guys are saying, I think the most important fact we took away from today was
That was
the
it?
fact that
Okay.